Race 2 in the championship round takes us to Southern Florida for the Dixie Vodka 200 at Homestead Miami Speedway. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to AARP's Cup Series here in beautiful Homestead, Florida. I'm Eliza Bethel, and joining me in the booth is Pete Ruzick. Pete, how are you tonight?
All right, Eliza, doing all right. Can't complain whatsoever. Ready to get some racing on. 134 laps, much like we saw the other night for the Shake and Bake iRacing Cup Series finale. It's gonna be a strong field. A lot of good contenders out here, and after tonight, only two more before a champion is crowned. Who'll be on top of AARP? We're about to find out.
I know they're headed to qualifying very soon, but I gotta tell you, let's talk about last week. A crazy race at Las Vegas. We had Thomas Harmon and Matt Burgess, who was leading the field there. Those two kind of got away from everybody, and I gotta say, Matt, I was really impressed with his drive that night. Unfortunately, with the last lap, he lost control of his car around the final corner, and Thomas Harmon was able to take the win from him. I believe Matt Burgess, he finished in 7th or so. So very disappointing night for him, but man, he had a heck of a drive. How do you think he's going to do here tonight, Pete?
Yeah, I mean, last week was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, they were, side by side, nose to tail, doing everything that they can. And all of a sudden, you just see the car snap. And Tom Harmon able to pull away. Tonight, I think we're going to see a lot of mixture of the lines. I tell you, I think the bravest of the brave are going to venture up as the race goes on, while some may try to stay on the bottom. But on the bottom, you really got to feather that throttle until you've got a little bit of grip, a little bit more heat, a little bit more air pressure built up, and then you could try to attack a little bit more. But like you said, qualifying is about to kick off. We're about to find out who's going to set that top row and have great track position right from the start.
Absolutely. We already have PJ O'Leary out in that number 9 Hooters machine. We'll see how he does out here. But as far as the practice goes, Matt Burgess and we had Thomas Harmon, they were both looking very strong. Pete, who are the ones that stood out for you in the field?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Tom Harmon, he led the field for quite a while, but Eliza, it wasn't by a big margin. It was just by like half a tenth, 3/4 of a tenth, so on. There were 3 or 4 guys up in contention to lead the practice boards, but it's really going to be all about getting that clean air right from the start, and that is what everybody is out here to do right now, and that's get the best possible lap.
Absolutely. Tonight is going to be a lot about saving. This track is so extremely loose. It is no fun to drive in the long run. These guys, you're going to see them letting off super early for the corners, getting on the gas a little bit later than what you are accustomed to, especially if you're running qualifying out here. So it's going to be something that they're going to have to really work on tonight. So speaking of that, let's go ahead and talk about the track analysis out here for tonight. We're going to see these guys. They're going to be out here for 134 laps. As far as their pit window, I'm going to say comfortably these guys can drive 30 to 40 laps. They're going to have their first stage on lap 35. So I would imagine all of these guys are going to stay out here as long as they can and just go for that stage and try to get as many points as they can. But beyond that, once the stage happens, we may see guys cut it in half, which means about 50 laps out there. You're going to have to really save, but comfortably, I'm going to say 30 to 40. We have 0 fast repairs in this league, so if you mess up, you get wrecked, you're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way and just take the time and fix it up. We do have 134 laps today, and tire sets, they get 5 sets of those. So plenty of tire sets, I think, as long as they don't do anything crazy and wear the tires out too much. But man, they have quite the challenge here tonight, Pete.
Absolutely. And I was actually going to ask you, talking about the 5 sets of tires that they're going to have available to them. When you ran this race the other night, what was going through your mind, and what were you and Marty, old Rock NASCAR, talking about as far as your strategy when it came to tires, and how frequently yet infrequently the cautions flew? What worked best for you, and do you have any words of wisdom if one of these guys should happen to pop up in a booth and say, Eliza, what should I do?
Well, I'll tell you, a lot of the game was to save the tires. Absolutely. We had some pretty good long runs. There was some cautions out there, and unfortunately, I think I was involved in each one of those, so I didn't get to save too much, except for when I came out, and I had no choice but to save. But I got about 50 laps out of those tires, so it is definitely doable. But you're gonna have to do a lot of wheel work to try to save the tires and catch it when it wants to get loose. But it's definitely a thing that you can do here. You can save it. You just have to be really gentle on those tires.
Okay, so talking about tires, high side, low side, or is there that great seam somewhere right around the middle that these guys are going to be searching for as we're watching a couple of guys? I'm right now, I'm kind of checking out the double O of Austin Collins and his tractor supply machine that really stood out last week. He was just on the bottom at one end of the track and kind of up high at the other end. It is are the I can't talk. Are these ends of the tracks so different that you have to tackle them differently, or are they somewhat the same?
It depends on the time of day that you're running too. The time of day could be different than what we ran on Monday night. So Monday night, the top really did not come in. You really wanted to keep it down low. That's where you're going to save the most in those tires. Some of these guys for qualifying, they may be able to run that on the high side, especially in 3 and 4. But I think 1 and 2, you're trying to just use up the entire track. But as far as what comes in throughout the race tonight, we'll see what happens. But I'm thinking that these guys are going to stay on the low side or just above that first seam.
Yeah, we saw. While we were waiting for this to kick off and qualifying to go, we were watching some of these guys practice, and it seemed like a few of them were really getting a little loose off the corner when using the low side, getting back on the throttle just maybe a little too early, or too much throttle too early, where if they were up on the higher side and using that progressive banking, they were able to get in the throttle a little bit more, but that's also going to chew up the right side tires a little bit more as well, and maybe not have so much as the run goes on. With just under 15 cars that'll be out here on track tonight, I expect a lot of great long runs all the way to the stage, and then after that, we're going to rack and stack them all back up. Everybody have 4 brand new Eagle Feel Goods, and then the race will be on.
Absolutely. I want to give you guys a shout out. I see Mike Boy, I see Mindless and Havoc. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know these drivers appreciate it, and we do also. I hope you guys are having a great night and are ready for a pretty fast-paced race tonight. We're going to have some saving, but man, oh man, you're going to see a lot of slideways guys out here trying to save their car tonight, and we'll see how good they do at it. But I'll tell you what, Thomas Harmon, really, really fast out there with a 33.22. He's going to be on the top of the board for qualifying. Austin Collins in second with a 33.23. You can't get any closer than that. And then take a look at PJ O'Leary sitting third at the moment with a 33.33. We have Craig Meyer in fourth with a 33.38. Burgess with a 33.40 and Wilkins with a 33.46. So you're going to see a lot of tight racing. You're going to see 2 wide. You're going to see 3 wide. It's just a matter of, can they hold it and save the tires all at the same time? It's going to be a wild one.
I mean, just look at the front row so far between Harmon and Collins, a 22 to a 23. That's like a blink of an eye. It's literally 1/1000th. I'm sorry, 1/100th. And yeah, I mean, you can't plan that. That is just how tight and how competitive these guys are. And then back to PJ O'Leary in that with running a 33.33. I actually got a chance to talk to him the other night, and I told him just how impressed I was with him in that 24 car and the strides that he had made all season long on Monday nights. And I'm looking forward to these next tonight and the next couple weeks here in their championship round. A lot of very fast drivers here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it looks like the guys that are going to qualify, they have made the rounds, and that's going to be 6 of them. And you heard the position that they're in here, but let's take it to JTR Custom Designs. They offer you professional custom signs or any home decor options you desire. They're perfect for gifts, holidays, or special occasions. You can find them at Facebook at JTR Custom Designs, or you can email them at jtrcustomdesignsllc@gmail.com. And we have about a minute until we get to the race here, where Thomas Harmon will be leading us to the green flag. And I see we have more out here in chat. We have Rock NASCAR, and I gotta say, that's my spotter for the other league all season. He does a fantastic job. I appreciate him. Big Hickory out here. Chris Palmer, he is a driver out here, so can't wait to see what he can do tonight. Denny, and then we have Rhyme, Havoc, Dark Racer. You guys are all awesome. So I wish these drivers a ton of luck out here. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, so far only 6 people have taken time going down to Dakota Wilkins. Those that have chosen so far not to even attempt a lap, maybe just want to start in the back, going to be Jonathan Hernandez, Frank Winsett, Scott Bodenshots, Derek Hilker, Chris Palmer, Dustin Music, and Paul Shapenis. So we'll have to see how this all plays out. Maybe the guys that are in the back may be thinking that under the initial lap, some of the guys in front might have a little bit of an issue while they just want to start in the back, or they weren't too comfortable with the feeling of the car and didn't want to be the cause of any issues, getting up and getting going until they get a rhythm as to, as far as finding out how the track is going to feel over the opening laps.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at points, you guys. Harmon in the lead with 3,045 after last week's win. Collins in second with 3,040. Meyer with 3,039. And Burgess with 3,038. And I can hear the engines have started. That means these guys are gridding up. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we got for the grid here. All right, on pole, you see we have Thomas Harmon in that 68 machine with Austin Collins on the outside in that 00. In row 2, we have PJ O'Leary in the 9 car with Craig Meyer in the 10 on the outside. In row 3, we have Matt Burgess in the 12 car with Dakota Wilkins on the outside. And in row 4, we have Jonathan Hernandez in the 88 with Scott Bodenshots in that 52 car. And in row 5, we have Paul Shapenis and the 77 with Chris Palmer in the 24. Pete?
Yeah, Derek Hilker in that number 5 Toyota with Dustin Musel in one of the blue ovals. Looks like a deuce. And then one more Toyota, talking about the number 20, starting P13 for Frank Winsett. It's going to go ahead and round out the field, starting to see everybody pull off of pit road, get all stacked up, double file, following this pace car around this oval here in South Miami, getting ready to battle out again for 134 laps for race number 2 in this final round of 4 races in this AARP series.
Yeah.
What a great night.
It's going to be a great night. I'm kind of curious. You got Thomas Harmon. He won last week, is on the pole tonight. Will he have anyone beat him tonight? Will Burgess come on up here and get that win that he was wanting so bad last week? Will we see a different driver? Collins, Meyer, O'Leary. Who will it be? It's going to be an exciting one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if something didn't happen to Matt Burgess last week, that finish between Tom Harmon and Burgess was going to be absolutely epic. Will they be able to play out how that race would have ended? We're going to find out. The pace car down pit road. Eliza, Green flag's out.
Green flag is out at Homestead Miami Speedway, and Thomas Harmon is off to the lead. The outside got a great start. Austin Collins on the outside getting that nice run. He's got some help behind him. Let's take a look. He's got also PJ directly behind him. So these guys 2, 3 wide already. They're starting a single file line out. We'll see how they go into the corner. I'm going to think, Pete, that they're going to try to just maintain those tires, save him. We're going to see a single file line until, they can make sure that they've saved enough. Remember, stage 1, and this is the only stage we're going to see for the break, 35 laps, so they have to make it last.
I tell you what, the battle for second says Eliza, not so fast. The 12 and the 9 side by side coming off the corner. 9 almost scraping that outside wall. But behind them, as you just said, a whole lot of single file back to just about last place. 12 and 9, they're not done yet as the double O's creeping up.
Yeah, Matt Burgess, he is on the hunt. He is all over Thomas Harmon already. He is making his way up there past PJ O'Leary and a few other drivers, already gaining 3 spots. So terrific start for him already. He is in line single file, and I'm kind of curious, will he make the move past Thomas Harmon, or will he kind of hold off until the final few laps until the stage?
I tell you what, if I'm Matt Burgess, as he actually just went purple, running the fastest lap of the race so far. We're only on lap 3, but that just goes to show he's not holding back. He's got the 9 behind him. He's getting a little bit of a pull off that 68 Camaro for Tom Harmon, but he wants that clean air. Right now, if I'm Matt, I'm going to push it just a little bit, see if I can't catch up to and possibly pass the 68, get all the advantages of the clean air and see what my car feels like up front, and then make them pass me back.
Absolutely. That dirty air does play a factor. We're going to see how it works out for these guys. But right now, everyone looks pretty solid. Let's go back through the field and visit what's happening. We have PJ O'Leary in 3rd and Jonathan Hernandez, who just passed for 4th. He gains 3 spots himself. We have Austin Collins, who is going to be out there in P5 at the moment in that 00. Craig Meyer directly behind him in that number 10. He's lost 2 spots, currently sitting P6. Dakota Wilkins in 7th, so he's looking pretty solid out there. Pete, who do you got next?
Yeah, Paul Chapenis in that number 77 Ford Mustang GT. So far, he's up 1 spot, and this is going to be kind of the tail for the back half of the field because, remember, they didn't qualify, so now they're going to gain a few spots, and some people are going to fall back a little bit. Just like David Hilker, he's up 2 spots right now, sitting in 9th in that number 5 Toyota. Then we're going to have Dustin Musel in that number 2, also up 2 spots. Frank Weinsit in his number 20 Toyota. Couple guys that have fallen back just a little bit, maybe trying to save just a little, as you mentioned before. Chris Palmer in his number 24 Camaro, as well as the 52 Camaro for Scott Bodenschatz. That's going to go through our 13-car field here tonight.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and take a look at Thomas Harmon, our leader. He's got Matt pretty much directly behind him. We'll see how they do, but yeah, single file line for these guys. They look pretty confident. I'm not seeing anyone slipping and sliding just yet, and we're not going to see that. I'm thinking after lap 15 or so, we're going to see some guys start to try to catch it on the exits of the turns here, but right now, lap 8, they're doing pretty good.
Absolutely. Everybody's just kind of minding their P's and Q's. They know that on lap 35, the stage will be over. So this right now is the time where you're really testing out, see what you got. What you within 35 laps, if we don't have a caution, they should have a really good idea of what their car is going to be like on the long run. Also, when they come down pit road, grab 4 brand new Eagle Feel Goods, they're going to be able to pull that tire data, see what kind of wear they had. They know how the car was feeling, whether it was in dirty air or in clean air. They know if they were able to do any kind of a pass, any kind of a slide job. All kinds of information is found and will be found within these first 35 laps, Eliza.
Absolutely. We got some number 5 fans out here. That is Derek Hilker doing a great job out there. Love his car. We'll see how he does tonight, but Homestead, he's looking pretty confident here, I have to say. So we have Racer Wreck out in chat. Shelby rooting for that 5 car. Great to see you guys out there. I know that they appreciate it, and man, Pete, I gotta say, this is a long train. Let's go back to Chris Palmer back here and go on board with him, see what's happening. He has fallen back quite a bit. I don't know if he has tried to save his car, but yeah, it's looking like he's not as confident as he was hoping, or as you said, he might just be saving a lot to perhaps make a late run and gain some positions back.
I would absolutely hope that's what Chris Palmer's trying to do. Scott Bodenshots, he's got, he's within the draft of the 24 right behind him. But Chris, I think he's pretty much lost the draft of the front pack. And as you can see, just like you were saying a little bit ago, they are in one very long conga line now going into turns 1 and 2. And just as I say that, Chris looks like he might have just stomped on that throttle a little bit. I mentioned in pre-race that you really do spend a lot of time out of the throttle here at Miami. But yeah, Chris making up a little bit of time.
Yeah, it seems to be. He's got somebody behind him too, Scott Bodenshots. He is back there also. So if he can catch up to Chris Palmer, they can kind of try to work together to make their way up to this huge pack. But even if you're saving, that's what I'm concerned about, is that even if you're saving, you want to stay on the tail end of that draft. You don't want to get out of that. Once you get out of that, it's going to be extremely hard to catch back up. So I'm thinking that his car is not reacting the way he was hoping, possibly a little bit more loose, or maybe with some of these drivers, they could have made it a little too tight for the short run.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's not something that you can fix. I mean, you can adjust your brake bias and a couple of very, very small things in these cars, but you cannot. There's no wedge or track bar or anything like that in these races. So they've got what they've got. The only thing that they can change next is just very, very small adjustments on the wheel and those for Eagle Feel Goods. Once the stage break comes, working lap 13 of 134, they know that they're getting closer and closer, and looks like there's a little bit of a battle for about P6 or P7 right now.
Yeah, we're gonna watch these guys come back to the back straightaway here. You can see the speed that they have, and as Pete said, we do have a little bit of a battle here. Let's go back and see if we can find that. Well, it looks like they kind of thinned out.
Yep. Yeah, I think the guy that was all the way down on that inside line kind of lost it. He was on the inside. Great save by him. I think it might have been the it wasn't the 9 of PJ O'Leary. I think it might have been the 20 of Frank Lineset, or right around there. And yeah, saved it, didn't collect anybody, and we're gonna stay green.
Dustin Musil, he is trying to make his way past Derek Hilker. These guys are side by side. Will the bottom line prevail, or will that 5, who is going to get a massive drive off that exit, will he be able to hold on to it? Man, absolutely side by side, so incredibly close. If they do this for a lot more laps, they're going to see a lot of tire wear. We're on lap 16 of 134. That stage break is going to happen at lap 35, so they still do have quite a few laps left. I am not going to wear out my tires as much as some of these other guys are. I'm going to try to save as much as I can.
Absolutely, and the 5, it looks like he's actually going to be able to clear the 2 here, but 2's getting a pretty good run up and off. Oh, 2 actually a little loose, going down closer to the apron. That's going to easily allow the 5 to take that spot uncontested. So put the 5 into P number 10, up 1 spot from where he qualified, and that should make some of the people out there in chat pretty happy.
Scott Bodenshots, he got loose coming off the exit. That number 52 machine definitely feeling the looseness at this point. And I said after lap 15, you're going to start really feeling how loose this car gets. And he almost lost it, managed to save it, but he lost a lot of time. As you can see, Chris Palmer, he's quite a bit up ahead. So he did lose some time, but Chris Palmer looks like he is starting to reel these guys back in.
Yeah, he's been kind of on the march a little bit since I talked about him last. He's really pulled himself up. He's got the draft. These next gen cars aren't like they were when they first launched here on iRacing. It used to be if you were 2/10 behind the pack, even if you were at a place like Daytona or Talladega, you lost the draft. You were done. We saw it happen to Harvick and the 11 of Denny Hamlin and a couple of others at the super speedways. Now they've made some improvements to the car. You can fall back a little bit and still stay within the draft. Yeah, 88's been making some time up, but now it actually looks like he might be falling back a little bit again as I look at the gap between him and others. And yeah, that seems to be growing.
Absolutely. I was just on board with Chris Palmer, and you can see he was getting pretty loose. Once you wear those tires down, if you go below that first seam, you're going to get extremely loose down there, and it gets very hard to save. So we're going to watch some of these guys battle the car condition out here. So that is something that they're going to have to watch. But take a look at PJ and that 88 going side by side. Jonathan Hernandez and PJ. It looks like Hernandez is going to come back out in second, but man, oh man, this battle, it's not done yet.
No, not at all. And it's interesting. We were talking about this stage being 35 laps. You're talking about cars getting wicked loose between lap 15 and lap 20, which is right where we are right now. Working lap number 20, about to start 21 the next time Tom Harmon comes on by the start stripe. But you think about the next stage or the rest of the race. You mentioned maybe cutting it in half. If the cars are this loose between 15 and 20 or 15 and 25 in that window, imagine what it's going to be like for lap 40, lap 50 until they come on down and do what they have to do if they make it that far.
It's going to be brutal. If it's me, I'm going to take it probably every 30 laps after the stage break and pit then. Sometimes it's worth it to get the tires and, make sure you have that grip. If you're saving and losing the time and you're trying to save the car on top of saving the tires, it's not going to work out a lot of the time. So we'll see what their strategy is, but there's a couple of options out there, and I'm curious to see what they're going to do. I know Thomas Harmon, he likes to do a lot of saving. So I'm curious, will he try to go out there as long as he can, or is he going to go for speed and get those fresh tires, let's say every 30 or so laps?
Yeah, I actually got a chance to talk to Tom Harmon before this race kicked off, and he mentioned a lot that he learned at this track just recently. And so far, it looks like he's put all he's learned to the test. Even a little bit of a wiggle there coming off of turn 2. He's having to catch the back end, catch the grip that he's got. I think it might have scared old Avril Lavigne once or twice so far.
I know he was talking about, he's like, learning from the race that we did Monday and watching some of these guys out here, I was overdriving turns 3 and 4. So he was making a point to save a little bit more tire entering 3 and 4. So we'll see how that makes his tires last here. But we have just over 11 or so laps until we hit that stage break. But 1 and 2, he's looking very solid. But let's talk about Matt Burgess. He just passed PJ O'Leary, but he did fall back. He was in second place. He's starting to make a comeback now, but PJ O'Leary has fallen back 2 spots as he is battling Austin Collins for P4.
Yeah, PJ O'Leary just got a little out of sorts and ended up losing both of those spots. As you see the double O right in that middle seam, which is a seam I was kind of wondering if there was more grip there than on the bottom, and not so much to where not so much than the high side to where you're really wearing out the tires. Good battle right there right now for P number 4.
Absolutely, but I gotta say, I gotta go back to Paul Chupenes, and he has, it looks like, wrecked. The 20 and the 77 make contact. That's going to be Frank Winnis at 77, just nowhere to go. Hard into the outside wall, back into the inside wall, and that's really unfortunate happening for him. He's going to be out on pit road trying to get that damage repaired out there. No caution for that. We're on lap 26 of 134. Stage break coming up.
Yeah, I think that Yahoo machine just got a little loose underneath, a little bit of a wiggle there, and the resulting contact sent the 77 to the outside wall, then to the inside wall. It looks like on him right now, he's just grabbing a set of right side tires. I'm going to guess that the left should be going on. Yep, left side's going on right now. I think that 77 should be rejoining the field momentarily.
Glad to hear it for sure. So hopefully the damage wasn't too bad. Hopefully we'll see him back out on track. But Harmon with over a 2-second lead over Jonathan Hernandez, who is leading this pack up here. Burgess directly behind at 263 behind our leader. We have Austin Collins and PJ Leary right in tow side by side once again. And let's take a look at who our final four are. Harmon, Burgess, Collins, and Meyer, who is currently sitting P6.
Yeah, and back to Harmon. I mean, after getting that win last week at Las Vegas. There we go.
That's a mouthful.
There you go. And looking at the points that you were showing earlier, even with that win, he is not safe. He still has to come out here and perform. And that was something that I mentioned while we were still in practice, kind of keeping up with these guys. The people that are leading the points, they ran the most amount of practice laps, Eliza. It wasn't some of the guys in the back that had to get on up there like they had something to prove. The guys that were the fastest, the guys that are up challenging for this championship, they were out there doing the most amount of work to make sure that they were ready for both the long and the short run here at Miami.
Absolutely. Take a look at this. They're starting to bunch up. We have a car going to the inside. He was able to save that, but boy, oh boy, that's going to be Austin Collins, I do believe. And getting back on the track, he's going to lose a couple of spots from that, but man, scary situation for that, but a great save for him. Boy, oh boy, that was kind of crazy.
Yeah, and that could have been really bad. I mean, he could have bounced off that inside wall and just come right back up on track, able to back out of the throttle instead of just letting it continue to slide. He turned it to the right, got out of the gas, maybe even tapped the brake just a little bit, able to get back on the throttle, even down there on the apron where it's super slick here at Miami, and able to continue. Good job by him.
Absolutely. We're coming up to almost 32 laps here. They do have a stage break at 35, but you can see what a struggle it is out here. You can see Craig Meyer directly in front of him, getting loose coming off the exit, trying to keep it off the wall and trying to save the car. These guys definitely have their handful. I'm not sure if anyone's going to be able to compete with Thomas Harmon up there. It's just second through fifth for these stage points.
I tell you what, I was just watching the 10 come off of turn number 4, and he was all but slideways, really driving that thing off the right rear. His wheel was turned to the right, staying in the throttle as much as he could, and still able to stay ahead of the double O. And I believe it's the top 5 that gets stage points, if that's what you just said.
Absolutely.
I'm not 100% sure. I was paying attention to what the 10 was doing and whether it was going to loop around on him. Sorry about that.
Yeah, the top 5 will get points, so that's definitely going to help them out as far as the standings go. But Thomas Harmon, as you said, he is not safe, but take a look at that lead, though. An incredible lead, and I think that he learned a lot from Monday's race, as he has almost put about 4 seconds over Matt Burgess, who is, again, in second at the moment. We have only a few laps left before we hit the stage break and these guys get those fresh tires, and I know they will be excited to get those on. The next thing we're going to see, strategy. What are they going to do? Are we going to go for the long run past 50 or so laps, or are they going to go in every 30 or so laps? That's what I'm interested. That's where it's going to shake things up a bit, Pete.
Yeah, I would probably go with what you said. Maybe every 30 to 35 laps, do your thing. Come on in. Make sure that you've got max speed, max feel. Those that stay out, they're going to be slower. So you've got a chance. And I don't believe, unless you fall too far behind the leader, if you go down pit road, I don't believe you'll get lapped. I could be wrong. It's been a little bit. And the race that we had here the other night, not many. Got lapped on track, even at the pace that the leaders were running. So Tom Harmon right now in a league of his own, but Matt Burgess, PJ O'Leary, and Jonathan Hernandez all very, very close. And then they've got a gap between them and Austin Collins and Craig Meyer, with Dakota Wilkins, Frank Winsett, Chris Palmer, and Derek Hilker for your top 10.
Absolutely. Lap 35 is here, and Chris Palmer looks like he was trying to save it again. So very interesting for him, but he's doing a fantastic job out there. Havoc Gaming, thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. Stage caution is out, so every last one of these drivers are going to come in to get those tires. But Havoc, again, thank you so much. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. If you are rooting for a driver, let me know who it is. Who do you think's gonna win this race? If anyone stays out, Pete, I just don't see it happening. I just don't.
I don't mean to laugh at you, Frozen, but yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I would imagine that these drivers were probably screaming for tires more than the tires were screaming coming off of these corners. So, yeah, everybody will be coming on down pit road to the attention of their pits. I can guarantee the rights will go up first and the lefts will go up. Everybody's going to go ahead and grab all the fuel that they can, come on back out, and then it will be a race of saving tires, maybe saving a little bit of fuel, and we'll have to see how it all works out. But so far, 36 laps, all green flag racing. Saw a lot of great saves, but Tom Harmon able to come away with the stage win.
Absolutely. And I want to give a shout out to Jess for all the help in creating AARP's Discord. As Dakota says, without her, our Discord would be a mess. So huge shout out to her for giving them all the help that she did. I know they appreciate it, but all these drivers are coming down pit road. Not a single one stayed out. Definitely what we're expecting, but some trouble in the back. That's going to be Scott Bodenshots in that number 8 machine, wrecked on to pit road. That is definitely going to hurt his time out there. Hopefully didn't get too much damage. You can see a little damage on that left front of his car. Pete, really unfortunate.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing about getting onto pit road here at Homestead, Miami, while you're out on track, and I'm sure that this could be the case, you're going to adjust your brake bias a little bit to try to help with the handling as much as it'll help you. And I wonder if maybe once he got on the brakes, since he was a little bit further in the back, maybe trying to make up a little bit of time. I don't know, but if once he tabbed those brakes, it might have looped around on him and just had an issue. But Eliza, it looks like it's going to be Tom Harmon that led him down pit road. He's going to be able to beat everybody off of pit road. But Matt Burgess up 3 spots. He's going to restart P2. These guys had an amazing battle last week at Las Vegas. We're about to see it again.
Oh, absolutely. He almost beat Thomas Harmon off of pit road. So I'm kind of curious. How did he get such a good pit stop? Did he perhaps go for 2 tires? I can't imagine that he did, but man, oh man, what a stop for Matt out there.
And what's even better is Matt Burgess's pit time was a 15:07, just pretty much a 15 flat. Tom Harmon was a 15:45, so 4/10 slower than Matt Burgess, but Burgess was able to come out P number 2. The fastest of all pit times right there was a little bit further in the back. Chris Palmer with a 14:52. You want to know about gas? Yeah, talking about Derek Hilker, 4.85. So I'm going to guess maybe a top off and some rights, although I think even rights is about 7 seconds. Something might have happened with Hilker. Maybe he forgot to check the tires. He's going to drop like a rock.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. We'll see. Maybe he meant to, but yeah, I'm thinking with how this is going, probably a mistake out there. It definitely happens. But we have JTR Custom Designs out there offering those professional custom signs or home decor options. So check them out on Facebook at JTR Custom Designs or email them at jtrcustomdesignsllc@gmail.com.
Got to be an amazing skill with metalworking, be able to put different graphics and different sizes and all that together for customers everywhere. That's absolutely awesome.
Chris Palmer out there in chat saying HMS Pit Crew, baby. Give them a raise. They did good tonight. Mine are usually out there eating popsicles and, going a little slow. Oh, man. Lap 40. Looks like the pace car is about to go in, so we're going to see these guys back to racing. Harmon going to lead us back to green, Burgess on the outside, so it's going to be quite the battle once again. Pete, what do you think? Are we going for the long run? I know you said you're with me. You want to go for that shorter run. Make sure you got the tires, you got the grip that you need. So if you're Thomas Harmon and Matt Burgess, are you going for the long run, or are you going to do every 30?
Man, right now they're taking a look at the data for their tires. They know how their car felt at 35 laps. So that would give them an idea for that strategy. 35 laps. What am I going to do? We're about to go back green. I'm thinking long run, Eliza.
We're going to find out. They are off and running once again. Man, oh man, Thomas goes up the hill, up to the high side, and he's going to bring it back down to try to get that run. Matt Burgess on the outside, going to hang out there. You see PJ O'Leary on the low side with Austin Collins. He is directly behind these guys. What a huge, huge battle. A lot of guys trying to find their way in line, but for right now, we're going 2 and 3 wide.
Yeah, how about this? I mean, that number 12 with the 9 and company, everybody kind of now migrating up to the high side. That's going to be where most of them are at. It's just going to be the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez on that bottom until everybody comes on back down again. But yeah, Eliza, behind that 88, there's a good 6-7 cars all kind of stacked up, wondering and kind of tiptoeing around this track until the tire pressures come up, until they build up just a little bit of heat. For now, they're having to baby him. Yeah, they were going to baby him, and they will be doing that once again soon enough. And like I said, once you get into that lap 15 range, it really starts to slip out there, and you're going to have to find yourself catching it. As we go 3 wide, let's take a look back here. That's going to be Craig Meyer, Dakota Wilkins, Dustin Musil, and now we got Frank Winniset in the mix as they are just passing on the high side, making some great moves. It will work in the short term on that high side. You can make some moves, but I'll tell you what, you don't want to hang out up there. It will eat those tires up. Yeah, look at his 20 now on the outside of the Bud Light 2. He's trying to carry all that momentum, but yeah, I think you're right. Not only is he going to have to worry about his tires a little bit later on, but Eliza, up that close to the wall, you really got to have a throttle pedal of steel, we'll say, to make sure that you can navigate your way around. You've got to hold a very, very steady line. Otherwise, you might get collected up into that wall, and then you're talking about damage, which leads to time on pit road, because otherwise you're just going to fall to the rear. So 20 decided to wisely go ahead and bring it on back down after passing a few cars, but so far so good for Frank Winset. Yeah, single file line for these guys out here, just trying to maintain those tires, trying not to upset it too much. I want to find out, are we going to see that 30 lap run, or will we have some going to the 50? I'm thinking only the top few guys might try to make it on the really long run. I know Thomas Harmon, he seemed confident enough to be able to do so. He had the speed, so I think he might be one that will try it, but we'll have to find out. If he sees everyone else going in, if that was on his list to do, he may very well change that. We'll see what kind of speed he has and what gap he can put on him. And right now, he's got quite the little gap, so he's looking pretty confident out here once again. Yeah, absolutely. 7 tenths up on Matt Burgess. Matt Burgess restarted on the outside. PJ O'Leary right in third spot. So nothing gained, nothing lost so far for the nine. For PJ, he's literally right where he started. Him and Matt Harmon are the only ones that are in the same spot that they qualified in. As you see, the nine get very, very close to that outside wall coming off the corner.
PJ O'Leary and that number 9 Hooters car. You know, I love the Hooters car. He's got the pink and black tonight, so great to see it out there. But yeah, he's doing really, really solid out there. You see Matt Burgess right in front of him doing a solid job. We'll see if they can't catch him. They have a pack of 3, and that's going to be Burgess, PJ, and Jonathan Hernandez. These guys are in this pack, and then we have a whole nother pack. It's going to be Austin Collins leading it with Frank Winniset. He's going to be on the outside once again, riding that highlight, and he does an amazing job. But man, oh man, it makes me nervous for those tires. We're going to have to see how he holds it out, but Dustin Musil on the inside just riding that apron, and that's going to be the way to go. But you can see his car, it's getting a little loose out there already.
Yeah, the two, luckily the 5 wasn't outside just yet. He almost had to clear himself trying to chase that car up the track. 10 car looking to the bottom side right along with the 00. They're back side by side, coming off before, coming down the front stretch, across the start stripe, lap 48. I tell you what, we are getting closer and closer to halfway. It seems like this race so far, Eliza, absolutely flying by. 3 wide in the back.
3 wide in the back. That's going to be Derek Hilker, Dakota Wilkins, Musil. We have him out here. So these guys still 3 wide in the 44. Gets a huge run. That's going to be Dakota Wilkins having a great solid run right there, trying to get ahead of him. He's going to take over P8. Derek Hilker in 9th. Dustin Musil is going to try to go back for 9th, but he is going to hold out in 10th for the moment.
Yeah, how about that? You really kind of looks like the where did the Frank Winstead? He's actually all those spots that he made up on the outside in that Yahoo machine. He's actually been able to keep them now on the back end of Austin Collins in that 00. He's actually moving closer and closer to breaking the top 5. So he spent some time on the high side using the momentum up there, and now he's back down low again. Able to save a little bit of tire. Looks like this 20 might be in it for the long haul.
Yeah, we're going to find out. He's having a great run tonight. It's great to see out here. Oh, gets loose. I think we just jinxed him on that one into the wall. It shouldn't be too much damage, but man, oh man, he's going to lose everything and a little bit more of what he did on track here. So really unfortunate. He moves all the way back to P11th, and man, he had a nice run out there. Still plenty of time to make it, but that just shows you how fast these cars can snap on you. And once they do, it is extremely hard to save it. You can see the damage on that right side of his car. We'll see what he can do now.
I'll have to write him an apology letter for the whole broadcaster's curse, man. I tell you, that is a very, very real thing. You do this, broadcasting, commentating, co-commentating long enough, you will be on screen talking about one person, and all of a sudden they goof up. You talk about Matt Burgess last week. I'm not going to, talk too much about that, knock on wood, about what happened with him in the closing laps with Tom Harmon from Vegas, but hopefully the 20 can recover.
Let's hope. On board with Austin Collins in that 00. This is a pack of 4 now. These guys, you can see we have Thomas Harmon a little bit up ahead. They're going to have to really work together to try to make up some of that time. But man, it's tough because you got to save those tires. You want to try to make up some time. It's just a give and take with that. It's a fine line of whether are you going to do that at this point or are you going to save. So these guys are going to have to figure it out. But right now it looks like they're trying to catch up to Thomas Harmon.
Absolutely, PJ O'Leary all over the back end of Matt Burgess in that number 12 Ford Mustang GT. And by now, the dirty air that was coming off the back end of the 68, it's not going to be affecting the 12 at all. So the 12 should really be able to get up there, run his own line. He's got a little bit of help from the 9, not all that much. 9 not quite able to guide it along that white line on the bottom like the 12 can. But if they can stay somewhat nose to tail, maybe we won't see Tom Harmon pull off to that, multi-second gap that he had before the stage break at lap 35. But so far, these guys, yeah, they're trying all they can. They just gotta hope for maybe a little bit of magic, or hope that Tom Harmon is abusing his right front or right rear, and he starts sliding back to him.
Yeah, Chris Palmer getting pretty loose coming off that exit, and we're seeing a lot of these guys getting pretty loose. Lap 55 of 134. I'm gonna say that we're probably gonna see some guys possibly go in around lap 70 or so. So we still have quite a few laps left for some of these guys who are super loose. Thomas Harmon is a little over 2-second gap over Matt Burgess. So we're going to see what these guys can do, but that pack is definitely growing, Pete. We have a lot of guys that have now caught up to these guys. I'm kind of curious, is Matt struggling a little bit out here and trying to keep up with the pace? I saw PJ O'Leary. It looked like he was trying to take a peek on the inside. Couldn't get it done and just decided to hang out. But that gap, it's increasing with Harmon.
Oh, yeah, 2.8 right now between Matt Burgess and PJ O'Leary. It's just a very, very small 3/10 gap. PJ now has Jonathan Hernandez in that 88, right with him. And that's actually helped push the 9 back up to the 12. As you look at the closing, that he's making a little tight coming up off these corners. Either that, or he's having to walk it up the track, try to keep it from coming out from under him. But the 9, 12, and 88 looking pretty good. Then they got a little bit of a gap back to Meyer.
On board with PJ O'Leary. We'll see how he handles coming out of the turn here. You can see he is definitely babying it, but he's looking pretty solid. Going past those seams, it can be very, very scary. If you exit just the right way, you will definitely lose it going over those seams. And Matt Burgess, he looks like he's got a very, very free car right now. It's going to be a tough one to hold on to that, but so far, they are doing it. No cautions this race, which I'm really surprised at. These guys have really held it down. As you said, we've had a couple of guys losing on their own, but they have all managed to mostly, for the most part, save it.
Yeah, I think the only car that we saw really have an issue and was on pit road for an extended amount of time was the 77 of Paul Chapenis. Everybody else, really no worse for the wear. The 9 has now caught the back end of the 12. He's taken a look to the inside a couple of times going into the corner, but staying right where he is. It really looks like the 12, 9, and 88, they might have a little bit of a plan. Back to the 10 of Meyer, he really doesn't have any help. He's got the 00 of Collins right behind him, and then Dakota Wilson in that number 44 Jegs machine, the 2, and then I believe there's going to be not Musel, it's going to be Hilker back there in the 5. 5's made up some time also.
Yeah, he has made up some time. Our top 4 drivers, we have first is Thomas Harmon, second is Matt Burgess, and then we have Craig Meyer. He's currently sitting in 5th, and Austin Collins is going to be directly behind him in 6th, and that is going to be your final 4 drivers for the championship. These guys are racing for the championship race, and there's 4 races in total. This is race number 2. Next week, we will be headed to, I do believe, Martinsville. So it's going to be a wild race out there. I'm pretty excited to see what they bring.
Oh yeah, it's been definitely quite a bit of a while since I was at Martinsville last. The track is always a whole lot of fun. The beating, the banging, the frustration, the temper, everything that comes with short track racing. It's a very, very flat, half-mile paperclip. Nothing like Thunder Valley or the D-shaped Richmond or any of those. Martinsville is very, very unique. One of the last remaining tracks on the NASCAR schedule that came out in the inaugural year of NASCAR, and they put that track to the test every single time they race there.
Absolutely. On board with Jonathan Hernandez, he's sitting P4, up 3 spots from where he started. Directly behind, you can see Craig Meyer and Austin Collins. They're going to be for 5th and 6th. And we have a driver hanging out up top. Almost, man, that is so close to the wall. I don't know how he's keeping it off the wall, but shout out to him for doing so. But man, some of these guys really love to ride that high side. I'm curious how many laps they are able to do so before their handling just goes away completely.
Yeah, we saw a really good buddy of ours, John Honeycutt, not here in this race, but show us how to get around this place on the high line. And man, it takes a lot of patience, a lot of skill, a great, very, very steady hand, and you got to be willing to stay out of that throttle for a little while, all the time, minding your tires.
Yeah, you're just all over the wheel, just making sure that you're keeping it off the wall, but close enough to keep that speed and momentum up. So it's a lot of wheel work, a lot of throttle control, and kicking it on the gas as soon as you can to get that run off the high side. And you can see the 77 going down low. He's got, looks like, well, I'm not sure who that was, who just went right below him. But yeah, that's going to be Dustin Musil. Man, some of these guys are mixing it up out on me on this standings here. But yeah, Dustin Musil is going to be out up ahead, gets a nice run over him. So pretty fun to watch how these guys get that run. And it's getting to the point where the handling is almost completely gone. We're going to see if some of these guys start to go in the next, I would say, 10 or so laps, Pete.
Yeah, and I got to give the 77 of Chepennis a really a lot of credit. He knows that the 2, he's still on the lead lap. The 77, he's multiple laps down because of the damage that he suffered earlier. And even though he's been faster than the 2 a few times coming off that high side, he's allowed him to pass him right back. Said, "Hey man, you go ahead, you go get him," instead of kind of holding him up. So good job by the 77.
Absolutely. Our leader, Thomas Harmon, man, oh man, what a run tonight. 3 seconds ahead, but take a look at this battle out here. We have PJ O'Leary going for a P2. He is on the low side, Burgess on the high side, trying to keep P3 and P2. He's got a little shove from Hernandez directly behind him. We'll see if he can't keep that. PJ is going to have nowhere to go but stay low on the low side. So we'll see how that ends up. But these two battling it out side by side once again. And Hernandez looks like he's wanting to go somewhere too, Pete.
Yeah, I tell you, it looks like the 88 kind of just pushed the 12 of Burgess right back up again. The 9 being on the low side, he just saw the momentum between the 88 and the 12 just go right on by. With him being pinched on the bottom, he couldn't get back in the throttle while the other guys up top were really still feathering it, but carrying a lot more speed than the 9 Hooters machine of PJ O'Leary. And now he's under attack by the 00 of Austin Collins.
Yeah, PJ O'Leary, he's probably getting a little frustrated. He wants to keep those spots, but I'll tell you what, if you go out to make a move and you can't make that happen, you're gonna have a train go right by you, and that's what he was experiencing. He didn't lose a lot of spots. He only lost 1 spot so far, but if he had those guys a lot closer in tow, he would have gotten passed by a few more guys. Austin Collins is directly behind him. We have PJ in front of him. Austin looks like he's pretty okay riding behind. We'll see what happens, but PJ, he's going for position once again, diving it down low, the 88 on the outside. We'll see if he can't make it stick.
Yeah, it looks like this time he might have enough room to go ahead and pull that slide job coming up off the corner. 88 nowhere to be found, and now it looks like he might try to pull just a little bit of a crossover. Not enough speed. 9's going to be able to protect on the bottom side. 88 has the 00 right behind him, and then just a little bit of a gap back to Craig Meyer in that 10. So first, still Tom Harmon, Matt Burgess, PJ O'Leary, John Hernandez, and Austin Collins to round out your top 5. But man, Tom Harmon, he has set sail 3.3 ahead of Burgess right now. He won the stage, and right now he's looking to try to win this race, coming closer and closer to half halfway, working lap 71. Eliza, I have a feeling that those green flag pit stops should be coming very, very soon.
Yeah, for these guys that the handling is gone, I feel like they've kind of saved a little bit more, knowing that they're going to try to make a long run. I don't see a lot of guys getting super loose just yet. So, especially with PJ trying to make those moves for position, normally if you're doing that at this point, you're getting super loose and it's going to be super hard to accomplish. But he did a great job, was able to get back that position in P3. So these guys, single file line. Man, I was thinking that we're going to see some stops by now, but some of these guys, they're still looking pretty solid, Pete.
Absolutely. Now, I'm watching the front wheels from that 9 Hooters Camaro for PJ O'Leary, and in the middle of the corner, I'm watching him turn the wheels back to the right and then rock them back to the left, back to the right, back to the left again. He's doing everything that he can to control that car. I don't know if PJ wants to be one of the first to come on down pit road or not. He knows just how strong Tom Harmon is. He's been able to watch his relative. He knows that, he's not gaining any time on that 68 Camaro for Harmon, but he's not really losing a whole lot of time anymore. It's still staying right around 3.5 between first and second place of Burgess, and that's right where the 9 of PJ and where the 88 of John Hernandez have been able to stay.
Yeah, I've noticed a trend here. We have PJ O'Leary when he goes down to the bottom. You have Matt on that seam, that first seam, and then when Matt goes all the way to the bottom, you have PJ on that first seam. So I'm kind of interested. Are they just on a different way of how to drive that on each turn, or are they just trying to keep that clean air and stay out of that dirty air? Kind of interesting to see there, but yeah, these guys still often moving, but man, Thomas Harmon, he is just insane here. He's got so much speed, so much grip out here, and still just putting that gap and creasing that lap after lap. I don't know that anyone's going to be able to catch him tonight.
Yeah, so far I would have to agree with you. They've got to really hope that Tom Harmon has some kind of an issue, speeding on pit road, having an issue, getting his tires, maybe blowing past his pit box or shorting it, maybe, some kind of an aid to the rest of the field to catch back up and see if we have a great battle. Just watch the 88 go ahead and throw it literally underneath the 9 of O'Leary, and is going to be able to keep that spot. 9's going to go ahead and fall back to 4th. Still, Austin Collins has a great view of every single one of the battles that we've been talking about over the last several laps.
Yeah, Hernandez looking very strong tonight, sitting P3 at the moment. PJ O'Leary falls back to 4th, but this battle is not done. These guys are going to battle it out all night, and already Austin Collins going to the high side, trying to make something happen. He's going to get a nice run if he can hold that car. So I thought he was going to be able to go on the outside, and these guys are too wide as he gets that crazy momentum off the exit. They'll go in and do it again next corner.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he did. He went ahead and kept it up high, and it looks like this time it's not going to be a question of if he'll be able to get to the outside of the 9, because he absolutely will, and with just a little bit of draft help from the guys up front, and it looks like for the most part they stayed up there, at least the entrance of the corner. So now the 00 again up high, 9's down low, maybe he's not quite sure just how high that 00 is, but able to stay to his inside. 00's going to go ahead and clear him, move PJ back to P5.
At some point, these battles can last forever. You can go too wide. You got to determine, do I want to waste the tire and, and keep battling it out here too wide lap after lap? Or am I just going to say, you know what, you take it here. I'm going to save my tires and hopefully pass you up, in a few more laps when you've worn yours out, or I will do it after I get new tires and we'll make it up there. So interesting to see these guys battle it out, but they've made it back to single file line. Austin Collins in 4th. PJ O'Leary falls back to 5th after being 3rd for a while. So Jonathan Hernandez, he's going to be one of the biggest movers out here, up 4 spots from where he started. Also, Dustin Musil, he is up 4 spots from where he started, our next biggest mover.
We are now back to 40 laps since we went back to full speed competitive racing. They took the green on lap 40, now lap 80 of 134. So 54 laps remaining here from Homestead, Miami. Nobody yet has come down pit road as of yet to make their next pit stop. Eliza, I think some of these guys, they might be battling it, but they don't want to be the first one to go down pit road. They see Tom Harmon. He's got an immense lead, and he keeps pulling away. That's kind of what I was getting at a little bit ago about being able to watch him on their relative. So they know that he's still up, he's still on the wheel. He's still carrying a lot of speed into and off the corner. He's not having any real big issues. They haven't seen him, get any kind of slideways or anything like that. I mean, Matt Burgess, he is a good about 4.2 seconds behind. He can still see him out his windshield. So he's got a good tally, but also Tom Harmon, he's far enough up to where if one of these guys come down pit road, they will get lapped. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it until Tom Harmon goes down pit road. But because of that lead that he's got, he's going to be able to come on out on those Eagle Feel Goods and make all that time right back up again and possibly pull away.
Absolutely. Thomas Harmon, I knew he was going to try to go for the long run. It's what he normally tries to go for. If he can, why not? He's got the handling on his car. You can see Matt Burgess, he's getting a little loose coming off these exits. We're at that point, about 45 lap run. So these are some old tires, and you're going to be fighting it out on track. You can see him staying above that seam. If you ride it, you're going to be getting loose. You can see a lot of off throttle time and just babying it until you're straight, and then you're back full throttle.
Well, it seems like everybody out there decided, Pete and Eliza, they don't know what they're talking about coming down lap 30. We're not going to do that. I think what you said in the beginning of the race, when you said, cut the bigger stage, stage 2, I guess, if we want to call it that, right in half. So if that's the case, we should see them very, very soon because they know how far they can go. Most of them are using, sim apps or SDK or whichever. Might even have a spotter up in his stands, kind of keeping an eye on things, working out the math, when they need to come on down, when they were able to run their fastest laps, how consistent they're being on the long run now on these older tires. There's so many different factors and so many different, pros and cons that they've got to weigh in on a race like this. Not over yet. Working lap 85 of 134, past halfway. I think pit stops are coming. There we go. Double O's coming in, I believe.
Double O coming in, and we're working on a lap 48 on those tires. Austin Collins going to break the pace here and go in. So we'll see if anyone else follows suit. Thomas Harmon, he stays out, though. They are getting to the window. You got to stay out to at least 50 to make this happen. So I think once we see that, we're going to see a lot of drivers come in. Austin Collins should be okay with how he pit, but it's going to be a little bit closer than some of these other drivers. Thomas Harmon, he stays out, Pete. Matt Burgess stays out. All the rest of the guys do. So it looks like Austin Collins going to have a couple lap older tires than the rest of these guys once they go in.
Yeah, absolutely. Good little battle back here between Craig Meyer and I believe it's going to be Dakota Wilkins. They're a little bit of side by side until looks like Dakota Wilkins able to pull that number 44 Jegs machine to the inside, pull the pass off, and put Craig Meyer in his 10 Toyota right behind him for P number 6. But yeah, I agree. I believe if it's not this lap, probably within the next 2, where we'll see several come on down pit road and prepare for the final laps battle.
Sometimes slower is faster in this race. That's what we're seeing here. You got to save. You got to be a little bit slower in order to save it. And, Thomas has done it really well. He is saved it a little bit more than these other guys, and still kept the speed. I don't know how he does it, but he does an amazing job at it. Matt Burgess not too far behind, but I'll tell you what, there is quite the gap between these guys, and they're going to have to make it up somewhere. Almost 5-second gap at this point. I don't know how they're going to do it, but yeah, they're going to have to figure out some way. And you can't take 2 tires. There's just absolutely no way. So you're just going to have to drive it a little bit harder, but then somehow save Pete.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you're talking about Burgess. Burgess's best lap was a 33.53, just 2/100ths slower. Faster rather than Tom Harmon. Matt Burgess's last lap was a 35.45. So literally almost to the 100th, 2 seconds off of his fastest lap. So you got to figure, like you said, 40 plus laps out here on these old tires, 2 seconds slower, and it seems like Tom Harmon is right there as well. His fastest lap was the 33.55. His last lap was the 35.29. John Hernandez coming on down pit road right now, so that's going to hand P3 over to PJ.
Really, really close. You can see him locking up those brakes, trying to maintain the pace speed onto pit lane. But man, oh man, he made it on there, hopefully with no penalty. But very, very close. Sober David, thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well out there. We can see Jonathan Hernandez. He is on pit lane. Will we see any other takers? Thomas Harmon, he still stays out, and we're talking 54 laps for these tires. So that is quite a few laps. They're staying out a little bit longer. Now we're getting to the point where maybe, possibly, are they trying to make it as long as they can on this so that they can run a little bit harder for the second half? If you got the handling, I could see it possibly being a thing.
Oh, absolutely. If you haven't been out here really just abusing everything that you've got, if you're able to make it past 15, 20, 25, and you kind of settle in and you know what you have, I would imagine that the car doesn't get much looser, because they would just be wrecking loose all the time. I mean, who says they're not, right? But we've been able to jump on board with a few guys. It looks like 44 almost kicked it out. Kicks the yellow cone to the inside wall. 44 Jag Machine down pit road.
Wow, yeah, a couple of these guys, Frank Winnisett, Dakota Wilkins, but pit entry, when you have this old of tires, it is going to be very slick trying to get onto pit road. So you really have to be able to woe that car down and keep control of it, which is a lot easier than it sounds. I'm glad that I'm not out there in these conditions right now, but I can tell you Monday night, it was the same way. Very, very slick. You got to woe it down enough and still keep it from sliding and hitting that wall.
Yeah, the Monday night race was a lot of fun to watch and call. I still can't wait for season 2 to kick off. But these guys, these guys with the limited field that they have, Eliza, they've still been able to put on one hell of a race, one hell of a show for everybody that is out there in chat, the guys that are polling for the different drivers. And yeah, from me as well, Sober David, thank you very much for the raid of 3. Hope your stream went well. And from me to you, welcome everybody that's here. This is the AARP South Point 200 live from Homestead, Miami. Welcome aboard.
PJ O'Leary, he's out here in 3rd. We have Dustin Musil out here in 4th. Derek Hilker, he's going to be in 5th. Austin Collins, who went on to pit lane earlier, he is P6. Jonathan Hernandez in 7th. Chris Palmer in 8th. Craig Meyer, he's going to be in 9th. Dakota Wilkins, who we just saw go on a pit road, he is in 10th. And Frank Winnisett, who we also saw in that 20 car on pit road, he is sitting P11th. Paul, he is down several laps here, but still hanging on to P12. And we have Scott Bodenshots out here, P13, still on pit road.
Yeah, PJ O'Leary in his number 9 Hooters machine, and Tom Harmon in his Avril Lavigne number 68 Chevy Camaro. Both just came down pit road, grabbed their fuel, grabbed their fire, and they're back away. Matt Burgess was able to stay out for one additional lap and lead, but now he's gone ahead and brought his machine down pit road. He's grabbing his rights right now. Derek Hilker is going to inherit the lead.
Derek Hilker in the lead, stays out to about 60 lap old tires. Incredible. Austin Collins going to be P2 as these guys are going on to pit road and coming out. Jonathan Hernandez in P3 now. Thomas Harmon comes out P4. We're going to see him make his way around as Derek Hilker. He makes his way onto pit road. You can see him locking up the brakes a little bit, but did a really solid job getting on pit lane. So great for him to be out on there. Chris Palmer, he is out on pit lane, it looked like. I don't even see him. It's not even showing me his car here. We'll see if he's still in the race, but Austin Collins, he's going to be your new leader.
Yeah, Austin Collins came in on lap number 85. His last lap was a 33.99, so doing pretty well. Meanwhile, Tom Harmon's last lap was a 33.60, so almost 4 full tenths faster than Austin Collins. And Austin, he might just be hoping that 4-second gap that he's got back to John Hernandez and Harmon and others is going to be enough. But if these guys are clicking 4/10 a lap off, it's not going to be very long before they catch up to Austin Collins, and it'll be a great battle for the lead once that 00 is tracked back down.
Absolutely. Thomas Harmon is running those fast lap times, so we'll see him catch up, but we'll see what happens with that. And it looks like we have Hernandez about 3.5 seconds back, Harmon about 7.5, so they will catch him. And remember, Austin Collins, he went in a little bit earlier than these guys, so his tires will wear out a little sooner than the rest. And Thomas Harmon, with the lead that he had, as you said, Pete, we're going to see it, I would say, pretty shortly. It's lap 100 of 134. Still a lot of racing left. Anything can happen. Matt Burgess out in 5th, PJ O'Leary in 6th, Dakota Wilkins in 7th. Austin Collins, he's still leading the race.
Yeah, Austin Collins, I tell you, those 5 laps, I had mentioned that in between their best lap and their last, or I might be able to say their worst lap, I don't know, but between when we were I was kind of comparing those two, there was 2 seconds fall off in between each and every one of those drivers. So Austin Collins came down 5 full laps before John Hernandez and Tom Harmon. So you figure he was hoping on a good 10-second gap, and that's almost very, very close to what he had over Harmon, and also over John Hernandez. So he's just got to hope that time will play out. Working lap 102 of 134, 32 laps remaining. Everybody knows that they're able to make it on fuel. They'll be able to make it on tires, but we're going to get closer and closer to that sketchy point to where the car's balance, or that transition, starts to happen. The grip goes away. The cars get a little more free. We'll see the times back down, and that's where we'll see who is going to be able to make up the most amount of time to try to put it on for the lead.
Absolutely. Chris Palmer out in chat says he has to go to work. Have a good night, everyone. Really unfortunate we didn't get to see him finish out here tonight. He had to go to work tonight, but he did great out here. Austin Collins, though, still leading. He's got a 2-second lead over Hernandez, and it looks like the car right in front of him hit the wall coming off of turn 4. But Harmon, he has now closed that gap to just under 5 seconds. So we'll see how soon Thomas Harmon will catch him. You can see his way up ahead. He's got Frank Winnisett in his mirror up ahead, and it looks like Hilker, also Derek Hilker up ahead also.
Yeah, Derek Hilker looks like right now he is actually the first car 1 lap down, sitting in P number 9. So that 5's got to hope that a caution does fly. He'll be able to get back on the lead lap and see what he's got for the rest of these, the rest of these drivers. He would line up as the last car on the lead lap and try to work his way through as a last ditch effort to get on up there. And that's about the point, Eliza, where everybody's elbows are up and it's all about the throttle. Very little, letting off at that point, even when we're talking about different let up or braking points, which unfortunately you had a little bit of an issue with the other night. But man, I'd like to see this go green and see who is able to, conserve the most to have the best at the end.
I'm going to say I want to see a later caution. I don't want it to be like 1 or 2 laps, which would actually be pretty cool, but maybe about 5 or 6 laps. Let's mix it up a little bit. Let's let them drive it out really hard and see what happens with it. I know Thomas Harmon would probably not be too happy with me right now. But I want to see what would happen with that. These guys, we've seen them save. They're doing a fantastic job. And already Hernandez is catching up to Collins, who saved and went in a little bit earlier. We see Derek Hilker out there getting ready to pass on those fresh tires. Harmon, he's down below 2-second gap. We see him in the rear view. We see him in that, and we already have Hernandez going for that lead. So we're going to see him pass on that low side. We're going to have Austin Collins able to hold with that run, but man, he tucks up right ahead of him, and he takes over that lead for Hernandez in that 88.
And when he pulled up in front, he literally pulled right up in front. I was watching the camera angle coming at the 88. I didn't even see the 00 back there. 00 says, you know what? Not so fast. He looked like he's gonna try to pull the inside, but it might be a little bit more worth his while, worth his time, just to tuck in behind the 88 of Hernandez and try to see if those two can work somewhat together to keep Tom Harmon back there. But Tom Harmon, he's not feeling any of that. He's got the draft. He's got a very, very fast car. I think he's going to be right there.
Oh,
Eliza,
he is right there.
Yeah, he is. I know you're a big fan of Chase Elliott, and I'm going to guess, when the Roval race was being run and, Chase was in the lead and that caution came out late, I'm going to guess that Chase felt very differently from you as far as wanting that caution late and losing the race that way. Swats and I were actually at the race, and when that signboard came off of turn number 6 coming through the inner loop, I thought that some Chase Elliott hater saw that Chase Elliott was about to win, just tore the sign off the inside wall, threw it out on track, caused the caution. And yeah, Chase Elliott did not benefit from that. But look at this now, a challenge for the lead. Tom Harmon throwing it to the inside. That Avril Lavigne Camaro back up to P1.
Yeah, he did not waste any time. He just passed 2 cars, no problem. And back to the lead he goes. Jonathan Hernandez falls to second, and looks like they are going to battle it out for second right now, which is going to help out Harmon. He is going to make some gap between these guys as they are going side by side for P2. We have Austin Collins. He's going to tuck in behind, and off they go. But man, oh man, Thomas Harmon, he didn't wait too long. 24 laps to go. This race has gone by pretty fast, Pete, but what a great job by Harmon and the rest of the crew. Matt Burgess, he's out here in P4, though. Will he be able to make up any spots? He's going to have to after last week's race. The final lap is what really did him in when he got loose, hit the inside wall. He was the last of the final 4 drivers to finish that race. He needs the points, Pete.
You got to wonder if Tom Harmon had really had to push to catch up to these guys. I mean, 23 laps to go. That's still a long time. You figure they came down almost splitting this longer stage. Talking about 51 laps, give or take. and then completing it out. 23 laps remaining. Did Tom Harmon, wear out his right front, wear out his right rear, trying to run down Collins originally, and then Hernandez once he got past Collins? Is Matt Burgess trying to push? You mentioned that he had an issue last week. That was a horrible, horrible exit of turn two, I believe. Before they went down the backstretch, and Harmon was able to, come on and take the W. He needs that. He needs the points. He needs them back in the bank. The points really, really tight behind Harmon. Just because he won last week, he's not a shoo-in. There's what, 2 points between second and third, and 5 between third and fourth. This is so tight.
It is very, very tight. And, Thomas Harmon, he's got the newest tires out there. Jonathan Hernandez, he's got 5 lap older tires than Harmon does. Austin Collins, he went in first. He's got 10 lap older tires than these two guys up front. So, I'm not surprised that Thomas was able to pass these guys in the laps that he did. I don't think he's going to have any issue holding them off. Now, what are we going to see from Matt Burgess? I want to see, will we see him make up any more spots? He's got a lot newer tires than the top 2 guys in front of him, Hernandez and Collins. So I want to see, are we going to see him make up any more spots and possibly take P2?
Matt Burgess, yeah, he came in on lap 96, one lap after Tom Harmon. Harmon came in on 95. John Hernandez came in on 90. Austin Collins came in on 85. So, yeah, Matt Burgess has newer tires, and I'm actually I'm kind of wondering if this car's got any damage to the right side or something like that, because he was running very, very strong very early as he throws it underneath the that number 20 Yahoo machine, throws it to the inside, easily carries all kinds of speed into and off the center of the corner. Gonna take that that track position, not necessarily a pass for a position, but to have that clean air back on the nose of that Mustang's got to be great for that 12 as he continues to try to run down those guys.
Burgess about 1.5 seconds behind Collins. So he does have a little bit catching up to do, but once he does that and catches those two that are right on top of each other, he might be able to relatively easily take over the P2 spot. He might have been saving a little bit to make that run happen and just slowly catch them so that he can try to catch up to Thomas Harmon. But honestly, I don't think anyone's going to catch up to him. I think the battle's going to be for P2, and I'm kind of curious. I think Matt Burgess will be able to take it, but it's going to be darn close.
Oh, yeah, just that last lap, he's gained more than a half a second. He gained 0.3 just in 1 and 2 last time around. Now down to 0.6 behind Austin Collins. So he's there. He's got the draft of the 00. 00 still sticking with the 88. I mean, in a huge run, he could be able to possibly go underneath both of these guys at one end of the track or the other and pass them both. I think he's got that much speed. He's got, his tires are that much fresher. He's there.
If I'm them, I'm making him work for it. I'm not going to pull over. I'm not going to make it easy for him. We'll see what happens because they do have about 10 lap older tires. Austin Collins gets a little loose, so that allows the 12 to make it to the high side relatively easily. So we'll see if he can make it past Jonathan Hernandez. He's got to work on him next, but he's already up to P3. He's going to be working on P2 in a sec.
Yeah, John Hernandez, he's got 6 laps older tires than the 12. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and throw it down. Looks like the 88's going to stay high. 12 down low, staying in the throttle. Looks like it's going to be a very, very easy slide job for that 12 to come on up. Give him 2 positions, one at each side of the track. and put Matt Burgess back up to P2.
Yeah, Austin Collins, he is one of the 4. He's sitting P4. We'll see if he can make it past Jonathan Hernandez. It's going to be close what they can do, but Craig Meyer, he's in P6. Really no one around him that you see. So he is the other driver of the final 4, and he is the lowest. He's P6 right now, so he needs some points too. But Matt Burgess, he is... he's hurting for the points right now. Everyone is so extremely close. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. See if we can take a look at the points. But yeah, Burgess 3,038, Meyer 3,039, Collins with 40, and Harmon with 45. So it is still extremely close. 13 laps to go, Pete.
Yeah, 13. Who knows? Will they be unlucky laps to go? Getting closer and closer to Halloween. But man, right now down in South Florida, it has. Oh, look at this, Eliza! You're gonna get your wish. We're talking about an unlucky lap, and that is exactly what's gonna happen. That's twice tonight. I'm sorry.
I did not actually think that was going to happen. Let's take a look. Frank Winnisett, looks like it was with that 20 car. What happened? He gets on the seam, gets loose, can't save it. Tries to put on the brakes. He stops right in the middle of the track as guys are starting to go around. But man, oh man, he's got some damage to that right side. But I got what I was hoping. I think Thomas Harmon, he's probably not going to be too happy with me right now.
Not at all. I just called for an unlucky lap, and that's exactly what we've got. You were talking about elbows up. You wanted the late caution.
Here we go.
Man, hocus pocus at your service.
Crazy. Now, who's going in? Who's staying out?
Everybody's in. I mean, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
No. Oh yeah. Everybody's gonna go in, and now. I mean, the guys that are in the back. They're gonna have more than enough time to catch up and get right on the tail end of the car in front of them. I don't think you're gonna see much gap at all between these guys. Everybody's got to carry max speed coming down pit road. And man, the 10 in the back just almost hit the water barrels at the end. He was trying to carry so much speed in. But yeah, this is the money stop. Literally, you hear that term more and more. That term means everything right now. Getting to your pit, let the signboard hit your hood. That way you know that you're not too far back, you're not too far forward. You're gonna get the best possible pit time. Come on out with those 4 brand new Eagle Feel Goods. You might not. I don't even think these guys will have to take any fuel, so they can keep these things light. We might see the fastest times of the race right now.
Matt Burgess beats Thomas Harmon off pit road. He will be leading us back to green. Very, very interesting call and a strategy for him. Beats him off, and off pit road, Thomas Harmon going to be out second. Austin Collins going to be in third. Jonathan Hernandez in fourth. PJ O'Leary in fifth. Craig Meyer in sixth. Derek Hilker in seventh. Dakota Wilkins in eighth. Dustin Musil still on pit road. He's coming out. And Frank Winnisett, he's going to be in 10th.
How about this, Eliza? Pit time for that number 12, 9.5. 14.7 for the 68 of Tom Harmon. That tells me that the 12, he took just right sides and maybe topped it off in case there's a little bit of a green white checker if we should happen to have another caution. But everybody else took 4 brand new Eagle Feel Goods and are out there. What do you think about this strategy for the 12?
I don't know. Sometimes the 2 tires, it just feels awful. We're gonna see how how it feels for him out there. But interesting call, and it put him out front. Most definitely, but I think he might have a little bit harder time trying to keep up. And I don't want to see him wrecked out. I really, really don't. So hopefully he can hold on to it. And if he wins, man, what a strategy.
I mean, that's literally all you can say. Now you got to kind of wonder: does he take the high side and use the momentum with those four? I'm sorry, with the those two right side tires, which I would imagine would be what he would take, unless he took lefts to try to get them planted on the bottom side. Man, it's one hell of a strategy. I hope that during the hour-long practice and the practice session that I believe they held last night, that he actually practiced this just in case this same exact scenario was to play out. Because if he did, then he knows how he's going to feel. If he didn't, man, he is in unknown territory with 8 laps to go. Since the lights atop the pace car are out, we'll be going back green next time.
We'll be going back green, and man, I said I wanted to see what they could do. I didn't think they were actually going to have a caution. The first caution of the night. So 8 laps to go. You guys, it's about to get really interesting. So hopefully these guys won't be too mad at me after they watch the race. But good luck to these drivers. Matt Burgess going to lead us off. Thomas Harmon, he's going to be on the outside. It's going to be a wild showdown here.
I tell you what, I think Havoc is out there in chat, and I don't know if he's got any fingernails left. He's like, "Come on, 68." So
yeah.
He's a big fan of Matt Harmon. He's got the outside, so I'm kind of surprised that the 12 let the momentum go. He's going to be on the low side. He's also going to be a little loose, getting up to speed. This could be the move of the race right now for the 68. Everybody racked and stacked real tight. Pace cars pulling off. Eliza, we're going back green flag racing.
Look how tight these guys are. Matt Burgess with a fantastic start. Thomas Harmon trying to do all he can to stay out ahead of Austin Collins. We'll see what happens with that. Oh, man, the 88 going to give the 68 a push out here. PJ O'Leary, he is in the mix. Austin Collins, this is just what he needed. Take a look at his speed. We'll see him tuck into the mix, going underneath that 88. But Thomas Harmon, he's going to go P2.
Yeah, Tom Harmon back to P2, 88 up high. He's got the 00 to his inside. 2x2 for the lead. Also 2x2 for P number 3. 9 up high. They're going to be 3 wide. 9 getting a little tight, washing up the hill just a little bit. 68 on the bottom, taking the lead. 12 standing by.
68 takes the lead, and things are still interesting. Austin Collins going for another pass, trying to get and take over P3. We have PJ O'Leary still rolling on that high side. You can see some of these guys really pushing it and starting to get loose. 6 laps to go. These guys are giving it all they have. Matt Burgess, this is his second shot for a win. He is not wanting to take any chances, but yet he's got to make something happen and pass Thomas Harmon for the win.
Eliza, I don't think Tom Harmon is pushing at all. He literally just tied his best lap of the race, 33:32. Second was 33:51. Third was 33:38. These guys are shoving for all it's worth. Right now, it's not about tires or anything else like that. When you've got 4 brand new Eagle Fuel Goods, you can just go all out as fast as the track will let you and battle it out. There's no worrying about the long run. There's no worrying about fuel. It's all about track position and what you can take in the closing lap.
Yeah, Matt Burgess is holding it out pretty well with those 2 tires, but unable to keep that lead. We'll see if he can keep second. Jonathan Hernandez in third, doing pretty solid. These guys, man, this is crazy. I don't know. Will they be able to make a move on Harmon, or are they just going to be battling it out for second? He's already putting a little bit of a gap, Pete, so I'm kind of curious if it's going to happen. 3 laps to go. We're headed to the final.
Look at this 88 off for a second there. I thought coming off of turn number 2, he was just going to stay tight to the back end of the 12 and shove him all the way down the backstretch. 12 doing everything that he can to get that thing planted on the bottom line. He's still in the draft of the 68 Avril Lavigne Camaro for Tom Harmon down the front stretch, coming to 2 laps remaining. And man, it's gonna get tense. I don't know if the 12 will get there, but he is absolutely giving a little bit more than the old college try, Eliza.
He most certainly is. And I feel like the 88 was kind of helping him, but he almost hit the wall. We have the 88 going on the inside. He's saying, you know what? I can't do this any longer. I'm going for P2. Makes a pass and is able to get out ahead for P2. Matt Burgess to P3. Austin Collins and PJ O'Leary. They are going at it for P3 right now. So it is going to be very, very close. I should say P4. Oh, we have a wreck. Matt Burgess, the 00. These guys are going sideways. Man, PJ O'Leary trying to save it. It is the final lap. That is all they wrote. No caution out here. Matt Burgess wrecks again on the final part of this race, Pete. Absolutely incredible.
That final lap is checkers or wreckers, and it looks like it's going to be checkers one more time, 2 weeks in a row for the 68 Avril Lavigne Camaro for Tom Harmon. He's going to win from Homestead, Miami.
He wins it. Jonathan Hernandez in second. Dakota Wilkins, how about that? He's going to take home a podium tonight. PJ O'Leary in fourth. Dustin Musil in fifth. Matt Burgess out in sixth. Craig Meyer in seventh. Derek Hilker in eighth. Austin Collins in ninth. Frank Winnisett in 10th. Paul Schupenis, he is out in 11th. Chris Palmer in 12th. And Scott Bodenschatz, he is out P13.
Well, I tell you what, it might have been a limited field as far as drivers tonight, Eliza, but man, they absolutely delivered on a great race, all 134 laps long. Wow, what a show of taking care of your equipment, really being up on the wheel all night long, being able to battle the diversity and the looseness of the car, the track, the different tight conditions of the dirty air and everything else that these guys had to handle. Tom Harmon's going to go ahead and burn it down. He has absolutely earned this victory.
Absolutely. I'm trying to get these guys in chat, but I cannot move them. Pete, I don't know if you can move them up here. We'll try to call them out. I'll do that while you try.
Harmon, Hernandez, and Wilkins. Let's see.
But man, what a run for these drivers. A fantastic job. I could not believe Burgess. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was absolutely crazy. I mean, it's going for it on that lap. You've got great tires. You have to make every possible move that you can to grab max points. That's what these races are all about.
Absolutely. We'll see if these guys will join in a second. I just tagged them to see if we can get an interview with these guys. But man, great drive. I know, a great effort for Jonathan Hernandez getting second. Dakota Wilkins in third, and I want to get them in here. We'll see if we can't get them in here.
Let's see. Tom Harmon, he's with his Output Racing teammates. Hernandez is also down there as well. And then Dakota Wilkins looks like...
I just got him in. He's the only one I can move.
All right. Let's see if
I get the other two for you.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you.
Dakota, while you're doing that, though, what an incredible run for you tonight. I know with all the chaos of what happened in the final final turn of the race here, you were able to bring home third. Take us through that final lap for you.
Yeah, honestly, I was just content riding where I was because I had my two teammates who are, battling for the championship. So I was okay with them finishing ahead of me, and next thing I know, there's just chaos in front of me, and seas parted, and I guess I'd rather be lucky than good sometimes.
How did your race go? Were you experiencing a lot of loose conditions, and what kind of tire strategy were you hoping to see?
Yeah, it was really loose, and I don't know, I just kind of going until about didn't feel like I could really hold on to it anymore than pit, get new tires, and hope they would last till the end and get that last caution, and everything changed. So
It definitely did. Everything changed, and you're able to capitalize on the chaos that happened in the final lap. Congratulations to you on a P3. You did amazing out there, and it's great to see you on the podium.
Thank you.
All right, Pete, you want to get Jonathan Hernandez?
Absolutely. John Hernandez, P2 in that number 88, up 5 spots from where you qualified. So it's going to be a runner-up spot for you tonight. It really looked like after that caution came out with about 13 to go, it was all hands on deck, all throttle as much as possible. It seemed like you and the 12 had a little bit of a deal going on to where you were pushing them for the most part on the straightaways, just not quite able to get up to Tom Harmon. At what point did you feel like, man, I gotta abandon this and go at it on my own? Or I'm sorry, do you feel like you should have abandoned that a little bit earlier to try to maybe get up to that 68?
Well, yes and no. It's just a matter of it's a late race restart essentially, and the top 2 cars are in the fight for the championship. So, yes, on the situation of going for the win, but no, at the same time, you don't want to make a move that takes out 2 guys or maybe all of them. And, in my opinion, that would have been a bad first impression racing here. But, in the end, I just decided to try to help out as much as I can for both of them. But within those last 3 laps, it was just go time. I know Matt took 2 tires, and it was a stretch for him to do that, but you had to take it off before you can, and wound up P2, which can't be disappointed with.
Well, that's being your first race, great introductory race for you in this number 88. I know that they are recruiting for their next season. Maybe we'll see you then. Congratulations on your runner-up, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to give a quick shout out to my sponsor, StintAnalyzer.com, RPM Motorsports, everyone at A-Log Projects, Factory Right Suspension, and my team at Triad Racing, putting on a pretty much great car. Helped me improve. Been a while since I've been racing, but glad to be back.
There you go. Eliza, you got this guy, Tom Harmon. We kind of know a little bit about him.
Thomas Harmon brings home the win tonight at Homestead Miami Speedway. Thomas, you obviously had the car to beat tonight. How confident were you once you hit the track, and as far as how the handling was going to be for you?
Once I started to open up a gap and it was still feeling stable for me, I knew I was going to make it rough on everybody else, but I didn't think I'd run away with it as much as I was. I even said during practice that I thought it'd be a bunch of back and forth between me, Matt, and Collins, but it just didn't happen. And apparently I learned a lot more than what I thought from Monday night.
I will have to admit, I said during the broadcast that I wanted to see you guys duke it out with a late caution, and we got exactly that, so sorry about that. However, what did you think as you were headed down pit lane for that late caution?
I knew that Matt knew about the 2-tire strategy that could work. I'm inside 5 to go, but we had a little bit more to go than that, and I knew that the car would get really loose after about 5 laps. So I was committed to taking 4, and I was going to make a fight out of it either way. I just didn't know if anybody else was going to take 2, but I fully expected the caution to come. I even said it not 2 laps before it came out that I got a big lead, coming down to 10 to go, getting close to it, about time for a caution to come out, and sure enough it did. So I was prepared for it.
Oh, well, at least you were prepared for it, but you learned a lot from the races earlier and watching some other drivers. You brought home the win, so that's going to give you a nice little padding tonight. Points were pretty tight going into this race, so congratulations to you on this win here. And how's your confidence level going into next week?
It'll be a little bit higher, but that'll definitely give me wiggle room going into the track that I'm probably perform the worst at. Definitely inconsistent, but it'll be nice to not have to pressure myself for that one.
Absolutely. Well, again, congratulations. You guys had an amazing night. Great drive. Pete, it's always fun with you. These guys had a crazy race, and almost feel a little bad for hoping for a late caution to see these guys duke it out, but it was a wild few final laps there.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about a caution, then we're talking about how unlucky 13 was. Caution comes out on lap 13. They all got racked and stacked back up. Saw a little bit of strategy play out, but in the end, the 68 that dominated the race, he grabbed four Eagle Feel Goods, and he was able to rocket back to the front. Good to see Tom Harmon get win number 2, going back to back. We'll have to see next week if he can go 3 in a row. Eliza, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Anytime, you know that. We'll see you guys next week, Martinsville, same day, same time, Wednesday at around 8:55 p.m. Eastern time. You guys have a great week. We'll see you next time.